Hi everyone, my name is Jonah. Did you guys know that the Chinese government has detained up to 1 million Uyghurs over the past few years in what the state defines as re-education camps? According to BBC in an article on their website, there are estimated to be over 380 of these facilities. Okay. Pictured here is a Uyghur woman protesting the Chinese government. In the same way that she is alone in her fight, her people are kind of alone in their fight against the Chinese government. Global leaders have ignored the Uyghurs' plight, and it's not being covered enough in mainstream media, and it's been ongoing for about 6 years now. Why does this matter? It's a human rights crisis, and we have a moral obligation to do something about it. I believe that the world leaders have an obligation to investigate and hold the Chinese government responsible for their crimes against humanity. So, I'm going to break this down into 3 points. Who are the oppressed? Who are Uyghur Muslims? Why are they being oppressed? And what are the Chinese government doing to oppress them? Uyghur Muslims are a minority group who are culturally and ethnically similar to Central Asian nations, and most of them live in Xinjiang, a province in China, where they number about 11 million. Uyghurs have their own language, although China has been accused of forcing them to learn Mandarin in their re-education camps. Pictured here is a satellite image of an alleged education camp that the Chinese government denies. You can see there are walls and there are guard towers, and it's very similar in construction to that of a concentration camp built in Germany in the 1940s. Chinese authorities initially denied the existence of these camps and then later described them as vocational training and re-education programs that aim to alleviate poverty and counter terrorism. So why do these camps exist? If we take a glance at this infographic, we will see that China has suffered from a number of terror attacks in recent years. Uyghur Muslims have been the scapegoat from the government. They blame most of these attacks on Uyghur Muslims and claim that their culture inspires these attacks. The Chinese government their ultimate goal is to erase the Uyghur culture by many different methods. A list of crimes China has committed against these people is long, but the main goal remains clear: the dissolving of Uyghur culture through suppression of religious freedoms and forced assimilation. Beijing just launched a program that will involve a state representative coming to live in the homes of Uyghur families, and they will live there for up to a week. They will observe how the family lives, and if the family is not living according to the party's prescribed lifestyle, they will send the parents to a camp and they will force the children to go to an orphanage. Furthermore, China is forcing Uyghur women to be sterilized in order to thin the Uyghur population even more. Officially, these camps are simply part of a culture counterterrorism operation by the Chinese government. Detainees are supposedly being taught things such as Mandarin and other subjects that will help assimilate these people back into Chinese culture. However, the state really, their ultimate desire is just to destroy Uyghur culture in general, instead of assimilate them to Chinese culture. There have been many horrible reports coming from these camps. Former detainees have reported crowded cells, brainwashing that drove some to suicide, waterboarding, torture during interrogations, food deprivation, beatings, being shackled to chairs for long periods of time, sleep deprivation, being forcibly drugged, and being shocked in an electric chair, as well as rape and sexual humiliation. Let's review. Uyghur Muslims are an indigenous people from the Xinjiang province in China, and the Chinese government is blaming these people for terrorist attacks, and as so, they are forcibly detaining these people and actively trying to diminish their culture from their land. The ultimate goal of these programs is to effectively euthanize the Uyghurs and destroy their culture and their people. The acts of the Chinese government are eerily similar to that of Nazi Germany and their persecution of the Jewish people during World War II. We as people cannot ignore the suffering of other humans, or we are just as evil and just as responsible of those causing the suffering. Are there any questions? Yes.
I got like 3.
Okay.
I've never heard of this before, so how did you find this And why do you use this as your subject?
That's a great question. So how did I find this and why did I use it as my subject? Well, when I first read the assignment details online, and it said, one of the things was said that it had to be outside of the United States. My mind went to global news that I had heard, and I had remembered reading an article sometime. Truth be told, I cannot tell you why it came to my mind, but it just did. And I thought that would be a good topic and a good thing to talk about and do a presentation on for the class. So that is why.
I'm going to ask you another question. The attacks that they're using, like, scapegoating them for,
Mhm.
were they actually done by these people, or they just used?
It's alleged in the same way that there's Islamophobia in a lot of the United States in the last 20 years because of attacks like 9/11 and stuff like that. It's kind of the same situation, but imagine if the U.S. government just started rounding up Muslims and putting them in camps and torturing them and ripping them from their homes. Like, it would not go well here. Do you have another question? That was it? Any other questions?
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for informing us on this one.
Did you need me to wipe it down or you got it?